Nerd morning, everyone. My name is Jeremy. I'm with my brother John, and we love video games. And one of the games that we are really excited for is the sequel to Breath of the Wild. We've absolutely loved Breath of the Wild, and we've got some of our thoughts about what we saw recently in the Nintendo's latest trailer.
So, Breath of the Wild 2 is a sequel to Breath of the Wild, of course, which means that I'm expecting a lot of the same kind of gameplay and some of the same baseline. But
yeah, there's going to be a lot of mechanics that are going to be consistent in the, from this game to the one previous. We've seen in the trailer a couple of the mechanics that look like they're the same in the kind of the special, as it were, like magic powers that Link gets to have.
So that feels like it's going to be a replacement for the Sheikah Slate, which was the big magic system of the first Breath of the Wild. So ultimately, I'm guessing Link gives Zelda the Sheikah Slate back, since it was technically hers to begin with. And as they go adventuring, it looks like Ganon sees Link with the Master Sword. And
he's like, oh shoot.
The first thing he's like is, nope! And basically, I don't know what happens. It almost looks like Link's arm gets corrupted by malice and he loses his arm somehow. And
right, but he doesn't seem to, not have an arm.
It seems like it gets replaced by this ghost arm that we saw in the first trailer somehow.
Maybe, that's interesting.
There's probably some connection here. And that seems to be the new Sheikah Slate, where it looks like Link is using the
corruption. That's essentially
not really the corruption.
The
it's like the opposite. It's like he loses his arm, and this ghost arm, which in the first trailer looked like it was holding back the malice, holding back the zombie Ganon. And
so he's gonna have like Cinder from Ruby. It's like this one dark arm.
But not malice, but whatever this other force holding back Ganondorf from the original malice was. So
this is an interesting thought. I haven't really considered this too much.
But it's essentially Link gets a magic zombie arm, and this is going to be the new thing that it looks like he's casting similar magic to the Sheikah Slate with it. I don't know if we get the Sheikah Slate as well. A lot of fun things.
It looks like there were some of those same powers that were available. So it's like we got new powers, which seems like things like blasting through physical objects, because we saw him morph through into one of the island areas.
Yeah, the floating islands.
Which that's a whole thing.
That is.
Definitely connecting to things like Skyward Sword. We actually have a video about this, so check that out. But that's different. That's not what I expected from Breath of the Wild 2 at all.
I was not expecting to be exploring the sky like that at all. The first trailer made me think that we'd be exploring underground, maybe caves and dungeon type areas a little bit more. And then, of course, the overworld, which somehow is going to be changed up a little bit to make it fresh and new for a sequel game.
I'm hoping more city development. I don't know if we're really going to get that, but I'm I thought this was going to be years later.
Yeah, maybe they've recovered just a little bit.
But maybe it's not had enough time to pass that we get those cities. I don't know.
It would be nice to see a little bit of Hyrule restored, just a teeny bit.
Before it's literally torn asunder.
Again.
With the castle, at the end of the trailer, being literally ripped out from the ground. Oh my goodness, I was not prepared for that. But interesting parallels to the things we had, again, from previous games.
So, the best thing about the first Breath of the Wild was you could see it, you could go there.
Yeah.
You could explore almost everything. So, being able to explore the sky, probably underground as well, if they let you actually dive as well. I mean, in Breath of the Wild, you could swim on the surface of the water, but that was all they gave you. If you could dive down again
we could do that in N64 all the time. There was we had cities in the water, and I would love to have a return to that.
You could explore everything, everywhere, except for maybe the moon.
Right,
but
we don't know if that's really going to be happening. But those would be super cool things.
That would be my wish list of if I could say, please add one thing. Please let us. We're
definitely going to be exploring the sky. That enough is confirmed.
Oh, that is going to be New massive areas.
Key aspects of the new map.
I actually did not see Vom Meadow or any of the other divine beasts around. So I don't know if they got put to bed or something or what, but they're going to have something for new dungeons.
Right?
And
don't we
don't
need
know
them though to fight Ganon if we're going to the same time period? That was the whole purpose of their creation. But if they're not around mystically for some reason, then we're gonna have to do this the old school way, like we maybe did in some of the older games.
In Kingdom Hearts, you have a thing which happens to some of the villains where they kind of split themselves into their heart or soul and to kind of their old husk, which is...
Okay, that's kind of like the Horcrux thing, it's kind of I kind of get that idea.
But they're both individual separate entities.
Okay.
So I feel like in Breath of the Wild...
Like Link and Shadow Link?
No, not quite.
It's come on.
Still...
Okay.
Same person, just different aspects. So I feel like we killed the soul of Ganon in Breath of the Wild.
Makes sense.
And now we have this zombified leftover corpse.
Yeah, that's a really good point.
What do we got?
They was always talking about him as Ganondorf or the Blight Ganon or things like that.
This was always Calamity Ganon, and this
this isn't Ganondorf like we would see in things like Ocarina of Time or different periods that.
And if it is the same Ganondorf from Ocarina of Time, let's say probably Twilight Princess, etc. This has been a Ganondorf that's been fighting Link for a long time, generations, just him.
I mean, that is kind of the thing. Is this reincarnation of good versus evil throughout this land as it goes through a balance of chaos and peace and harmony. That's kind of the forever-ending struggle of this land that we get to play through. So
that's kind of a thing that also is fun. Returning to the Sky ties it nicely into
the beginning.
The beginning,
yeah,
where the part of the beginning of Skyward Sword, the whole point of that game kind of was explaining the beginning of the cycle of the hero.
So it's if this is the case and we're building this really strong association, is this the end of The Legend of Zelda?
Timeline
beginning
wise,
and end. This could be it.
I think we'll get more games for sure, but timeline-wise, this could be the extremes that we're looking at, and we have all of the middle that we've never explored or touched at all that we still have plenty to play around in. So don't worry about not having new games in the future. But
yeah, it's an interesting idea. There's so many things that we could cover here, but we want to make sure to give you guys opportunities to talk about your thoughts and ideas as well. So if you guys have interesting theories or ideas or things that you think are super big or important, put those in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. You can find more content like this by subscribing to the channel here at Nerd Morning Gaming. Also, check out the main Nerd Morning channel, which is at youtube.com/nerdmorning. And also find Nerd Morning content on places like Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, and more at Nerd Morning. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll catch you guys next time.